Cyber passport. It's a proposed solution for the problem of identity theft, which is a huge problem in the United States. About 7% of adult populations in the US become victims every year, lose their identity. And the damage is horrendous. It's not just that money is being stolen, although millions are being stolen. And the latest way of doing it is micro theft. You will see on your monthly report a charge that says $12.95 or something that says SVC services. Most of us would say, I don't know what it is, but probably something 3 weeks ago, or my wife did something. Most people will not dispute it because it's a hassle to dispute anything. And it's a small sum, probably it's okay, they let it go. And the next month, another strange line says GBQ operations or something, $18.45. And so they milk you every month. It's very easy to do once they have your data, and that's how the damage is done money-wise. The biggest problem that we now have is reputation-wise. People will buy somebody else's identity in order to buy on the internet, I don't know, pornography or something else that they don't want to associate with them. But then they sully the reputation of somebody innocent that doesn't even know that his reputation is ruined by someone who stole his identity. So imagine 7% a year. It's a huge problem. And people who are already victims, they have to go through to companies like LifeLock to monitor their activity, because once your social security number and your date of birth, etc., is out there for sale, you have a huge problem. You have to monitor all the time that people are not abusing it. So the idea that we came up with is to solve this problem of massive identity theft, the way it happened here with companies like Target, and Home Depot, and Heartland before them. Not retail, not one by one, but the massive theft, and to help the people who are already victims. So this idea was developed as a thought regarding as a byproduct of our business, which has to do with payment. And I presented it to my students. Got 5 students that got so excited about it that they are now trying, here they all are, trying to organize into a business based on this simple idea. We already went to some merchants, banks, US Congress, and there was, so far the reaction is very, very positive. So I would like to present to you what it essentially is this idea. It's a voluntary program that in its full maturity, let's say, implemented in the United States, the government will offer any citizen the ability to apply for something that's called cyber passport code. The unique thing about this code is it's totally randomized. So it's the most difficult thing to guess. It doesn't say anything about you. You apply, you get a randomized code, and it's replaceable upon demand, and it's short-lived. So you have to get a new one, let's say once a year or once or every year and a half. And then the government will require that whoever applied for such code, when you are trying to, for example, get your tax returns at the IRS, as you apply online, you have to supply this code. So in other words, those who have their Social Security compromised, and they have all the other permanent attributes out there in the hands of the hackers, will not be vulnerable once they apply for a cyber passport, because then the government will check, hey, this particular person applied for a cyber passport, you didn't supply the cyber passport, you're probably an identity thief. You are not that person. So, in simple words, it is to add to the permanent attribute of a US person, it can be any country, another attribute which is randomized, ephemeral, changed every so often, and if you think that your phone or in some other way it was compromised, you apply to get a new one, and you get it instantly. So that's one aspect. So that is shortly randomized. The other element of the proposal is that the cyber passport will have two codes, really. One we call the working code. I'll explain what it is. And the other one we call the unstored code. That is a code that the government will issue to everyone who applies. But it will not give a copy of this code to the banks or the merchants where people have to be online with. Instead, it will only give them a verification code for the cyber passport. There are common cryptographic way of doing it, public-private key, that's one way, or hashing, but this is a solved problem. How I can be confirm that you have a particular code that I don't have it. It's done commonly with safeguarding passwords, that you just save the hash of the password so that anyone who has access to the computer cannot steal the password themselves. So you do it nationwide. Only the authorities that issue those passports has a copy, a database of those cyber passports. The rest don't have, only a verification. That means that if a target is being violated again, like it was before, or Home Depot, they cannot violate in a massive way the identity of millions of Americans, because the data is not there, only the verification code. The verification code does not help you. You have to supply the cyber code to be verified with the verification. If you don't have the cyber code, you cannot use it. The other part of the cyber code is what we call the working code, which is being stored, and it is used to establish a secure communication. Also, there are many cryptographic solutions. We don't make any particular difference between them. So that's what I was saying before. We have, let me repeat here this graph. This graph simply says what I mentioned to you before, that the actual cyber code is only kept at the issuing authority, but not by the merchants and the banks. Everything else is. The working code is known to the banks and the merchants. They use it to establish a safe communication. line, once they receive communication line, the unstored passcode is passed to the, let's say, the bank. The bank uses the verification code for this person to ascertain that that's the right person. Communication is there. So these are the two parts. There are several cryptographic solutions for it, but the basic idea is that an authority issues two codes. One is the word code to establish secure communication, and another is unstored, that's only can be verified. And if it's implemented right, the only vulnerability of the system is the database that issues those passcodes. However, even if this one database, which will get all the protection in the world, is being violated, it's still not a big problem, because you will issue a new set of cyber passport to everyone in this unlikely event. And so the idea is that it is replaceable, it is short-lived, so that if we were somehow are being outsmarted by the bad guys, we have a very robust recovery plan. So it's the humble approach to the problem. We are not so smart, we don't know what they can do to us, so we already build in mechanism to recover, to come back from this disaster. So that is the basic idea. Now, this describes what I was saying before. You open a dialogue with the working code, and once you establish the identity of this person, then you get the cyber code, and you do it, and you verify the identity. Now, the way we are about to implement it, when we are talking to the government, they always say, okay, we need a pilot. You need to show us that it works. So one way to show that it works is to implement it on a small scale. So we are talking to merchants that will together agree to require a cyber passport from anyone who try to get online if they apply for it and test it on a small scale. Then we will try to engage one of the states of the 50 states of the United States and keep growing with this idea, because the problem is huge. The damage that we sustain today is enormous. Now, I would like to stop here for a moment, if I have some time, and get questions about the overall arrangements before I get into the particular cryptographic solution.